Mystic ancient secrets can all be answered when you ask the mystic access guru. That is I, the great exalted one. I have come across 3 astral projections through the god plane in the hero metamorphosis to give you the knowledge you deserve.
Hey guys, how is everybody? Where are we at? There? Yeah. Hello, Scumbag, Lisa, third ender of creatality, and Ronnie. What's up, guys? So we gonna be looking at this dipshit here, Kevin Samuel. He was on I can't remember the guy's name. Dr. Shiva. He was on Dr. Shiva's panel and totally just screwed the fucking pooch. So we're gonna go through a bunch of his videos. I've got several tabs open, which means I am a high IQ skeptic. If anybody remembers that. So anyway.
In air only. Let's do world's first and check that scaled for the globe. This is the test which the globe versus flat debate waited for years. The globe needs this bend, because we definitely see too far.
Like in this example, the horizon should be at 1.2 miles, but is behind.
So the horizon is wherever refraction lets us see it at. That's where the horizon is. All the time. Every single time.
9.
But one thing you got to ask there, buddy, on day 1 of the zoom footage, you know, the footage from BMLSB 69, which is where this comes from, why is this line here equal to this line? Why is this line and this line the horizon when there's very little refraction present? When these crane arms are straight and very clear looking? Why is that? You ever wonder? It's because it's extreme refraction, which allows light to bend further over the horizon, seeing further, and putting that optical horizon further away. I mean, this black swan was dead in the shell, man. Never made it out.
4 miles.
If we are able to make something visible from over there, from here, there'd be the Earth bulge in between. Today's physics claims that even visible objects can bend around this obstacle and call that...
What? Physical objects can bend around the obstacle?
refraction. But all
physical objects? No, physical objects don't bend around the horizon. Light does. Light isn't a physical object, it's photons.
current optical physicists like Kabashi do is checking whether light goes up or down at 100 to 150 meters only, which isn't congruent anyways, and scale this result up to where they assume curve. But they never checked if the visible spectrum actually can bend around obstacles in air. There are
Yeah, we have. We most certainly have.
some incorrectly carried out claims
We've seen they can bend around objects in space.
only about slopes without obstacles, or with liquid gas, as well with incorrect heights. Nicht korrekt durch
Right, because you want to increase the refractive index from what it is normally. Or you could just do the black swan. I mean, that's the deal on a 1-to-1 scale. So
durchgeführte Tests lediglich über Schrägen ohne Hindernis gab es, oder mit Flüssiggas, ebenso mit verfälschter Perspektive. So
don't understand any of that.
I took the formula of Chief of Refraction Walter Bislin and tested it small scale. The main important value in the refraction claim is the temperature gradient. The globe thesis is that a warmer top layer results in traveling light around curves. The calculations revealed that already 70 meters should be enough to supposedly bend light 1 centimeter when a temperature difference of 3 degrees Celsius per centimeter is achieved. So I played around with halogen lamps, aluminum foil and saran wrap to store heat, Greetings go out to Global Jesse, who got me to this idea.
The 230 watts strong halogen lamp is at the top, reflects from the black painted aluminum foil, and the heat gets stuck in between two layers of saran wrap.
Yeah, that'll trap heat.
First, I cut doors apart, but tests showed that already simple cardboard can create enough temperature gradient. A precise thermistor thermometer, which detects the temperature change within a second and got 2 measurement sensors, detects the temperature difference. I fixated both sensors 3 centimeters apart from each other. For 17 meters, multiple cardboard boxes had to be prepared and attached together. To hold and guide the thermometer and an external battery, I got cable ducts and a fitting metal piece to that, so I can guide the whole thermometer through the setup. I built a little wagon for that.
It's pretty clever.
And I will guide them through the ventilation shafts from the cardboard.
Here we see the setup from the side. In the middle we place an obstacle which represents earth bulge. The light at the end and the observer height are half a centimeter lower. And then we'll see if the light path really happens like that. Now a hose level needed to determine the exact descent of the area, even if it was minimal, to include that into the calculation. 32.4 at the observer and 34.8 where the light will be placed equals 2.4 centimeter descent. And for half of the distance where the obstacle will be placed, 38.4 for the observer and 43 at the middle equals 1.9 centimeters descent. So we equalized this gentle slope. 9.6 centimeters showed to be a good observer height for the phone to see through the 2 measurement sensors. The barrier slope got equalized and we added half a centimeter. And the initially hidden light has the same height as the observer, so only the slant has to get equalized. Fixating the lamps with copper wire and not cable ties, they melt and create a huge amount of extra work. I know what I'm talking about. And then we can finally start. I had to get extra current from the neighbor cause one household isn't enough for 53 230 watts halogen lamps. Here I lifted the light slightly above the barrier manually as a control experiment. We would definitely see the light if it travels above. And here the lamps are already turned on. You can see the construction to get the lens on the correct height. Close the front to raise temperature as max as possible. You can see the barrier on the left, but let's zoom a little. No light. As said, we now move along the construction with the thermometer. You can already see it here. The metal piece didn't fit 100% into the cable duct. Or the own weight of the thermometer weighs itself a little bit down. I placed the sensors to counteract that, but depending on whether I hold the thermometer or not, the dropping of it isn't represented equally constant. And if the thermometer drops down too much or too long, especially the temperature at the top drops down significantly more. We will see this in a second when one bar disattaches through the vibration. And I will need some time to get to the next bar. During this time.
So keep in mind, this is titled Does Light Bend Around Curves? The real final experiment. So what does the temperature in that tunnel have to do with the light? Hey, it's us.
The thermometer finds itself at the lower height and drops.
Hey, Lindsay.
Temperature below 9 degrees Celsius, but we saw from the beginning till now that when the thermometer has its correct height, temperature gradient is enough. Here this moment occurs now. It takes some time to go on, the thermometer is lower and the gradient drops. But I did a second trial. That one I took more attention that the thermometer remains at the start position. And the temperature difference there was, see bottom right.
Hey, Stanley. Can anybody figure this out?
20 to 25 degrees Celsius and minimally slightly less than 11 degrees when the obstacle had to be passed. This has to be laid down with this construction when we want to pass with the temperature sensors. We see this happening in a few seconds. Then we will also see the flashlight again. Additional camera perspective coming, filming the obstacle from the side, and the light shines bright, which had to shine as bright or almost as bright the whole time after globe theory. It disappears again though after the only half a centimeter higher obstacle gets placed in between the way again here.
Now you can go on criticizing
So you prove that you can put a piece of wood in front of a light.
my trial, although I showed that the globe paradigm isn't possible. Or you can finally turn your view and ask yourself why there's not a single one demonstration of bending objects around curves.
But there is. There is. It's, I can't remember who did the experiment, but it was done with a telescope, the sun and the moon, and stars. See, the stars were in a grouping that was smaller than the sun's diameter. So when an eclipse happened and the sun aligned with those stars and the moon was in front, we could see the stars, which meant the light of the stars were bending around the sun. It's the only way we could have seen them. So when you see something that's further away than should be seen, that's refraction. That's exactly what's happening, is light bending around that curve, the curvature of the Earth. I know it hurts your feelings, but fuck off.
Look at the proof.
No curve can twist the honest truth.
All right, next. This is boat disappearing without curve. Yeah. This is you can already see the back tire like being hidden by the curvature of the fucking driveway. So
Okay, 3 inches up off the ground right now with the camera.
this is what's his name? I can't remember his fucking name. But yeah, he's a little twerp that hung around that took Nathan Thompson in when he was hard up, one of the guys. So
Lower it down from 3 down to about a half inch to the bottom of the camera, so about 1.5 inches or so to the top of to the center of the lens. Okay. There you go.
So you've got a lot of refraction due to an inverse temperature gradient due to a really fucking hot day. See the fucking heat coming off the side, off the pavement.
There's your curvature, guys.
I mean, there's so much fucking refraction, it is diffracting the light. It is splitting the light into its constituent colors. You got red and blue. So if you notice that, blue, red. So yeah, dude.
There's your curvature, guys.
So was that someone pulling that boat? Was that someone pulling the boat over the curved fucking pavement? And then we got this dude. And this is all in the same channel. He's just uploaded a bunch of other people's shit.
So some of you might have seen the video yesterday with Dr. Shiba, the Globe versus Flat Earth Summit.
This gentleman is clinically insane.
What a joke. Well, I don't know why people bother. You cannot explain anything to the mind that's not open to understanding.
Yes, that's why you're still a flat earther. Because you refuse to understand that what you're talking is bullshit.
Common man cannot handle the facts.
Oh, the common man. So you're the uncommon man? You're the extra special man? You are special.
Can't even handle the facts. They don't even understand, even though the CIA papers have even exposed it,
No, they haven't. No, they haven't.
that nothing's actually of mass. It's all matter, vibrating.
So nothing is mass. It's all matter. Okay.
Resonating at a certain speed, the speed of light, no doubt.
Mm.
So nothing is actually physical in this realm.
Resonating at the speed of light. Do you know what resonating means? Do you have any fucking clue?
Whenever someone moves south, they expand with the toroidal field, with the field of the earth. You're expanding all the way. And here these guys are trying to explain or prove that earth is a globe or flat. What a joke. And then got this guy Toon there, his experiment is they can determine or they can predict the time of day. Well, go right back to the source of where this prediction comes from. Where are they getting their times from?
Protect the what? Protect the time of day? What the fuck is Lindsay talking about?
It's all computerized. And where's the information they put into the computer? Where's it all come from? Years and years and years of experiments and ancient knowledge. Okay? And they're trying to say, oh, a couple of globies came up with the idea in the last month or so. That's how they try it. They try and, that's what they like to portray. No. Anybody can, once you understand man's arc of horizon, you start to understand where they get this silly globe idea from. There's only
The arc of horizon? What?
one arc, 180-degree arc at a time. As you move, everything rolls down on your arc. Because it's rolling down your arc as you move, they want you to think, oh, it's rolling right down and underneath you. No. Your hemisphere, your arc of horizon, you move, you are gaining on something on Earth, but you're not gaining on any of the celestial bodies, besides the fact they put them billions of miles away. Because that arc of horizon is your screen, your personal observation, your screen. So if you're moving, your screen moves with you.
Oh, so show us the screen, Lindsay. Where are these screens that nobody ever fucking sees, Lindsay? Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Because you're all inside the toroidal field, which is the parabolic mirror projection of refraction.
The parabolic mirror reflection of refraction. My brain hurts.
The celestial bodies are refracted images from the parabolic field, lateral field, and the concave vertical field. So,
What? You mean it's like a Pringle? It's concave in one direction and... What are you fucking talking about, dude? What the fuck?
anybody with computer skills, and a bit of maths knowledge maybe, can determine where the sun is at what time on the flat earth easily. If they
Okay.
understand the two hemispheres, the separation of the tropical gap.
You don't have hemispheres on a flat earth, dipshit. You don't. They're flat. A hemisphere is a half of a sphere.
And what time of the year? Because the southern summer, the sun comes out of the Arctic south. We've just started talking about this now. But I've had it on videos for years. This is a magnetic cycle in the southern hemisphere and a magnetic cycle in the northern hemisphere that brings everything around and back again. North,
No, doesn't. No, you're talking horseshit, Lindsay.
south, north, south, and in the
Hey, George.
southern hemisphere, north, south, north, south. It's all about the polarity between the two and the alignment, the out of sync,
Jesus
the
Christ.
phi ratio difference, and the time of year where it comes.
The phi ratio? What?
And it does sync. It does all line up. It matches. They know nothing about this. They know nothing about the how the
Who? Intelligent people don't know anything about the bullshit that lives in your head? Huh, I wonder why.
Well, that magnetic field, then they don't even know. They didn't even know the phi ratio in magnetism between the north and south pole. They don't know that. They don't know. They don't understand the man's arc of horizon.
He did. He said the phi ratio of the magnetism. Holy shit, man. He is something, isn't he? He is something.
They don't. They don't. They don't even know that the magnetic field doesn't cross the tropics. Yeah, it's blatantly obvious in science.
Say what? The magnetic field doesn't cross the tropics? Yeah, it fucking does.
Most people don't even know there's the dual compasses for each hemisphere because north will always.
Yes. Yes, we have dual compasses for the northern and southern hemisphere. Actually, we have three different compasses. One for people who live mainly around the equator that aren't weighted at either end. And then we have the ones that are for the northern hemisphere that are weighted on the weighted on the south end of it, so they tip up slightly. So as you go further north and it wants to dip down following the curvature of the magnetic field, not the surface of the earth, but the curvature of the magnetic field, it won't dip down and bottom out on the bottom of the compass. And adversely or conversely, it's the same thing with the southern compass. It's weighted on the northern end. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Point to the Arctics because they're both north poles.
No, there's only one North Pole, dumb fuck. We have a North Pole in the north. We have a South Pole in the south. Flat Earth can't have a South Pole.
They have no idea that the compass south end is actually just pointing to the tropical boundary of that
No, it's fucking not.
Pacific hemisphere. I don't think it's going all the way up to the other end of the ball. What else? They don't know all the celestial bodies are projected images.
No, they're not.
Oh, I could go on all day. I should have made a list.
Yeah, you could go on all day because you're fucking insane. There's a lot of crazy shit going on in that fucking empty head of yours. Yeah, you probably could go on all fucking day. But we're done with you.
We're talking about relational mechanics and geocentrism versus heliocentrism, and all of this stuff, and gravity and the like. How does any of that tie into flat Earth? Surely that would all these things also reinforce the.
Look at this bullshit. Look at this fucking horseshit.
The broadly speaking, the globe model of our solar system at least, and the universe around us.
Why is geocentrism exclusive to a sphere?
Because it is. Because it is.
All of these things that you're talking about, relational mechanics, are they not going to work on a flat Earth either?
Why not?
Because they rely on things like the spherical symmetry of these fields, the fact that the universe is all around us, not.
It sounds like PhD Tony.
Just above.
Hey, Real Cygnus.
Versus flat.
No, what do you mean by flat? It's talking
flat.
about the relativistic view of flat. That means it's Euclidean.
No, it's called the universe itself is actually flat in your paradigm.
What do you mean
flat. Like as in if you zoomed way out of the universe, it's like mind-blowingly flat. So you just propose this idea that there's this huge immense universe that extends in all directions like a giant expanding sphere. That isn't what your model is. Your model is flat. The universe is flat.
My understanding of the flat universe meant that it's Euclidean or nearly Euclidean.
Well, this is a slightly different thing. Yeah, like to even impose your relativistic interpretation of the universe, what they do is they use like infinitesimally small Euclidean like portions, and they stitch it together and then impose overall curvature rates exactly the way that they impose the presupposition of sphericity on the Earth with geodesy. but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the universe is flat itself, like as in there's no positive or negative curvature. And this is a major problem. It's called the flatness problem.
Yeah,
This is because the energy density required to have the universe do that is 0.00701, and it's like considered a fine-tuning problem because the statistical odds of it doing that are basically zero. So it's not just about relativity or Euclidean anything. It's about the actual geometry not having positive or negative curvature based on the initial energy density required. It's flat. The universe is flat. So now if we take that over here, we understand that everything is moving around us. This idea that it requires like spherical symmetry underneath our feet just isn't true. But then of course, if you understood the concept of projections anyways, you would know that that isn't the case. So the answer to the question is that geocentrism is not exclusive to sphericity in any way.
So how? Well,
Yeah, he's not talking about the entire fucking universe, dipshit. He's talking about the Earth.
I think you're going to talk about.
When they talk about geocentrism, they aren't talking about the universe as a whole. They're talking about the Earth's role in our universe, or in our solar system. Geocentrism is limited to our solar system.
This with Maud one, so I'll let you go. But yeah, I've got a dispute that a projection is equivalent to a simple coordinate transformation. That it changes the geometry of what you're looking at, so it can't be equivalent.
Well, they are different things, of course. Yeah, coordinate transformations and projections are different things. But the reason that I don't go that far into making that claim is that it would be ignorant to do so because I don't claim a definitive map. And if we were lied to about the nature of the Earth, the very last.
See, that's what makes you a coward, Austin. You won't adhere to a map or a model. You won't do it because you know you can't defend any map or model that you adhere to. You just can't. You're taking the coward's way out of debate.
Last thing they would let you do is know exactly what the map is. And to answer your initial question, like what does it have to do with flat Earth or how does it help flat Earth? There are two primary claims, which is one that the Earth is in motion, and one is that the Earth is a sphere. You can flip-flop those, say the Earth is a sphere and that it's in motion. They're two separate things. What I've found is that people are so intellectually dishonest about the
I love it when a flat earther calls other people intellectually dishonest, especially when they will not they won't consider any evidence outside their little box. Hey, Westside.
geocentrism component and the actual superiority and viability of the geocentric models, any type of geocentric model, they're so dishonest about it. The mainstream's so dishonest about it. The textbooks, the schooling system, the education system, the propaganda, all of this using big.
So everybody's dishonest but you, Austin, right? Everybody's dishonest but you. You're the only honest person in the universe. You know what that would be diagnosed as, Austin?
Big tech to censor the alternative positions. Mainstream academia is so dishonest and excluded. When you dig into their books and their writings and their papers, they say, oh yeah, it could totally be geocentric. It's totally lied about. And all the people that come to debunk flat Earth or whatever argue against it, they always want to skip over it, and they treat it like a package deal, like that either flat Earth is true or the heliocentric globe model is true. And what I found is if I can't get someone to level with me and have an intellectually honest discussion in good faith about
What? Oh, damn, Austin, you are such a fucking hypocrite.
geocentrism, there's a 0% chance that they're going to be open-minded enough to discuss things such as geometry or not having a map. They can't even accept that they don't have a proper dynamic explanation for their own heliocentric model. And
Yeah, we do. See, Austin's another dumb fuck who doesn't know what a model is. He does not know what a model is. So he thinks like the heliocentric model needs defending.
and that we don't have to replace it, and that there's a equivalence within their own paradigm, then like why would I talk to them about something that we have to be honest enough to acknowledge we don't have answers to, like what's beneath our feet and stuff like that.
We do have answers, Austin. The heliocentric model is a recording of those answers. It's a record of those answers. It's a catalog of measurements of that thing under your feet. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Hey, Sealess Raider.
And the other big thing is what we're really dealing with is people are terrified of not fitting in with the consensus. That's what this is all about. Like no one wants to be the person that says they don't believe the solar system is real. They don't.
No, what this is about is you're a dumb fuck, and you're trying to gaslight the universe into believing your horse shit. That's what this is about. And we keep trying to educate you, but you refuse to be educated. But you think you're the smartest person on the planet, evident by what you just said a while ago.
Don't believe the current model of the universe is real. They are terrified, like mortified of the idea of not fitting in. And so that's why people always avoid the arguments about geocentrism and jump to flat earth, because it's a tactic to avoid ever having to actually address the possibility that the current model is wrong. They have to keep it all together. So that's why I lead with geocentrism. That's why I basically refuse to go too in depth in the flat earth geometry portion of it until people are honest, because it's just a futile pursuit. If someone can't be honest about geocentrism, they're not going to be honest about flat earth.
That's fair enough. Could you also conceive that we could make a lunar-centric model of the solar system and universe? It would work just as well as a geocentric one.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I can conceive of the idea in your paradigm, and I
In your
vehemently
paradigm.
disagree. In fact, the only one viable in terms of both kinematics and dynamics is a stationary Earth, and we require a stationary lab frame to do all of physics, and stuff like Ares failure proves that it's the Earth that's not moving.
No.
So, no one's ever going to rebut Ares.
I mean, he's been thoroughly debunked on Ares failure. What a piece of shit. I gotta put this back. Hold on. I go in the hole. Go in the hole. There you go. Sorry.
Ares failure, we will all die waiting. There is no rebuttal. And no one even tries to. They just want to ask me how do eclipses work. Whatever they can come up with to avoid addressing the evidence that the Earth is what is stationary, and it's been empirically proven with something as simple as water in a telescope. Something as simple as water in a bucket proves it. And, this is again just kind of reiterating the point, which is like, until people can be honest, like, why would you not look into that? Like, if there's a claim that the Earth is moving through space and that causes stellar aberration, so it causes the light from the star to come in at an angle. So to keep the star in the middle of the telescope, we have to tilt it because it's the Earth moving underneath that starlight. Just like if we were running in rain, the rain would look like it's coming at an angle. So then, like, oh, okay, well, if we put water in that telescope, it's going to slow the starlight down. It's going to take longer for the starlight to get to the telescope. So if the Earth is moving underneath it, once we add water to the telescope, that's actually going to increase the angle, because now we're increasing the amount of time that the Earth is able to move underneath the starlights and increase the difference, the distance between the two. The angle is going to increase. When we actually put the water in the telescope, it doesn't do that. So that is a direct physical refutation. That's physically impossible if it's the Earth moving. Now the only explanation is that the Earth is not moving. And I cannot play these games anymore after 7-8 years where people want to ask me what's underneath the flat Earth, where's your map, which are bad faith questions, when someone can't address why.
No, it's not a bad faith question to ask someone for evidence. But Austin, it is. To Austin Whitsitt, asking for evidence is a bad faith question.
In a telescope. So that's why I've been focusing on.
See, Austin, that's why you will always be a clown. You will always be a clown, because that's your attitude. You have no concept, no fucking clue as to what science is or how it's used. or how to do it. You are dead weight on FTE or TFE, and you're still fucking dead weight.
Geocentrism. I've discovered that it just saves me time, and the rest of it is just all tactics. It's all tactics. If anyone's actually wants to know the truth, they would refuse to believe that model still until they could answer Aries failure, until they could answer Mickelson Morley. Anyone that's truly pursuing the truth. That's not what people are doing. What people
Why? We have highly sensitive equipment that does that. We don't have to rely on Aries failure. Notice the keyword failure for that shit, man. We have highly sensitive apparati that tell us shit that's way more sensitive than Aries failure could ever be, than a telescope filled with water could ever fucking be. So you keep living in the fucking Stone Age, Fred, Barney. He's not even Fred or Barney. He's like 88 Fingers Louie. Remember that character on the Flintstones? The fucking con man that they bought the piano from? The stolen piano? 88 Fingers Louie. He's 88 Fingers Louie. He's the fucking con man grifter from fucking the Flintstones.
we're doing is desperately looking for a way to protect their current belief system. So now we're dealing with like a ideological issue, a philosophical issue. We're not dealing with
Well, what the fuck are you doing, Austin? You're gaslighting the world trying to protect your belief system. But, your belief system was debunked 2,500 years ago. So, you lose, man. You fucking lose.
what is true. So I'm very calculated as to why I discuss geocentrism more now.
Yeah, I guess there's not much strong evidence around measurement of flat Earth and stuff like that, and I see this as a diversion away from the nature of flat Earth. Things like GPS and even if you want to work out what comets do in the solar system, not that you believe that thing even exists, as far as I can tell. Don't want to say what you believe and what you don't believe. Apologies. Even simple things that are often floated in these fields, like the fact that the sun doesn't change its size as it moves across the sky.
You totally
yet
just
it's subject to-
evolved. You totally just evolved
Hmm.
and little backhanded slights and focusing on flat Earth and even strawmans of it and mischaracterizations of it. You literally proved my point.
Dude, it's like he did the thing you just predicted, bro.
I
That's
know,
so
what I'm saying.
crazy.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
well, I guess it's frustrating that I want to understand.
Nah, it's not. Wrap it up, B.
The flat Earth.
It's frustrating that you
view of
guys are
things,
scared
right?
of the Earth not moving. I agree.
Yeah.
It's so gay.
Oh no, I'm not scared.
You
because I
are
know that
literally
it's a
scared of
globe.
it. You're scared of it,
I've
bro.
done my own measurements, right?
You've done
I've
measurements of
verified
the
how
Earth moving?
GPS works. No, of Earth moving, that's a more difficult thing, but I know it's a globe.
But do you not
And
see my
whether it's
point?
moving
Why
or
are you
not
so
is a-
scared of it not moving? Why did you feel the need to, once I really laid it out, you're
Why are you scared that it does move, Austin? Why are you terrified that the Earth... Oh, we know why. It's because you're so fucking insecure. You're so pathetically inept and insecure, terrified of being normal, being just like everyone else, and a tiny speck flying through an infinite universe. You're terrified of that, Austin. You blaspheme your own God's infinite creation because of your fucking inadequacies. You disgust me.
You're like, you know what? I gotta make Austin look stupid. I gotta try to attack him personally. I gotta impose
fair enough. I
dishonest
shouldn't have done that.
intentions on him right now. It was an emotional response. It's because when I really lay out the situation with the Earth not moving, people get uncomfortable. And like, yeah, oh, there's no physical measurements of flat Earth except engineering ever has literally used a flat Earth, and you believe, well, sure, it's got to be used flat for on the local scale. But then you say stuff like, "There's no measurements. We created the latitude system with a flat Earth. We fly planes with a flat Earth."
No, we don't do any of that, man. We don't do it. Hey, explain this to me, Austin. Why are the straight lines of longitude on your flat Earth map measured in curved lines of a circle or degrees of a circle. That's a curved line. But on your map, it's flat and straight. Why is that, Austin?
We do civil engineering with the flat
No,
Earth.
we don't.
We make plane survey
No.
measurements with the flat Earth.
No, we don't. We don't do anything with the flat Earth because the flat Earth isn't real, Austin. It's been measured, motherfucker.
We built all maps with the flat Earth. Your stillman position is, yeah, we use the Earth as if it's flat for all practical purposes on the local scale, but due to scale.
No, we flatten it. We fucking flatten it. If we want to build a building on something, we fucking flatten it. We don't rely on it being flat. We deliberately grade it and either put Earth there or take Earth away and roll it and compact it and put concrete on it and reinforce it so it's flat. What the fuck, dude? You don't know how shit's built?
It actually is a sphere and can be used as if it's flat. So the intellectually dishonest position is to claim, oh, there's no evidence that it's flat. There's no measurements that it's flat. It's like, what? Your model.
Yes, there are no measurements that the Earth is flat on a whole. None, man. Zero. Zero. You can be as sarcastic and fucking giggly as you want, but your scoffing mockery laughter won't fucking help you, dude.
Requires the flat Earth.
You just can't repeat facts and laugh while you're saying it and make it true. What the fuck? How old are you, dude?
Earth measurements, literally.
Hey, unfornicated.
Literally.
Yeah, and I guess that's why sometimes it generates an emotional response, right? That those 4 or 5 little things that you quoted before, right? Around like, we need all aircraft flight is based on flat Earth and things like that. That is factually incorrect.
Will you explain to him what's it? Just explain to him. Planes do not work on a spinning
Dude, take the mic out of your mouth, man. What the fuck?
ball when the pilot's treating it as stationary. Come on, please do.
You can't even address. You can't.
Who's the dipshit? Who's the other dipshit? I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of that one. This is none of Mount Canigou should be visible here.
So watch here. I mean, we don't see anything here. Now, this on a normal day, people are going to look at this and they're going to come to the conclusion that this is the horizon line. It's a physical separation between where the Earth ends and it curves over, and that's as far as we can see. Period. But on this specific day, the sun gets behind and creates a silhouette. So you'll see.
Yeah, just as the heliocentric model of refraction dictates it would.
See that coming up here shortly. And the fact of the matter is that these mountains are not floating and levitating in the air. They're just not. They're not a mirage. Doesn't have any of the characteristics of mirage. There's no towering, there's no floating, there's no distortion, there's nothing. That is the mountains of Canigou. Now, when you hear people say, oh, it's just this mountain here, this peak is 9,000 feet, but the rest of the mountain chain is there. So, granted, can you see down to 1,000 feet or down to the shore? No, because you're.
No, the bottom of these mountains is like way the fuck down here or further, but yet we can only see them. We can only see this part.
Looking over a vast amount of water, and again, reading the.
What's his name? Dave McKeegan did a breakdown of this.
These things that I read today are just more backup of that, of exactly what's going on here. But here, if you look at, this is not a mirage. You'll see this is not rising, this is not shimmering. This is the mountains of Canigou, and.
Oh, I haven't been on Twitter since they booted me the first time for calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a whore.
If you put in the curve calculator here, an eye height of 1,000 feet at that church in Alash, and
I think I called her a bimbo. I implied a whore.
Target distance of 175 miles, you get a hidden feet of 12,380. The mountain peak of Canigou is 9,400. So you're talking about 3,000 feet. These mountains should be, the very tip right here should be 3,000 feet below the curve. So what do you believe in that's floating these to the top? What is lifting mountains to the top? It's just not what they say.
And see, on a flat, if the Earth was flat, we can see these mountains, so we should see the whole mountain, not just part of it blocked by some thing.
And so, you know, for me, I'm not going to just take their words. Oh, this is okay. Yes, it must be an astronomical thing. The sun's lifting thing. The sun doesn't lift mountains up. If these mountains are behind the curve, I wouldn't be able to see them. I cannot see through ocean water, and the sun is not a magic ball that lifts mountains up over water so I can see it. It's just not the way it works. So, and this is not a mirage. That's what they want to try and call it, because there's no other excuse for why we're seeing things at such distances that we shouldn't. And there's still people who go around and tell me that every observation that we see matches perfectly on a globe. That is an observation.
See, this is a pre-TFE, by the way.
And it doesn't match the globe at all. In fact, it would be impossible on any globe unless you believe in floating land and levitating mountain chains.
So how the 24-hour sun could work on flat Earth is that the southern system is projected from the north completely.
No, that's not how it works. If the southern system was projected from the north, then you would see Polaris. And you would never see a reverse turning star trails, ever.
As you can see here.
See, if it's being projected, we should be able to see the projection. None of the stars match between the north and south. So how could it be a projection?
Watching, just look at this model here.
Okay.
This is how it works. The center north turns, projecting out the model in the south.
Holy shit. I wish you would have shown that from the very beginning. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? Show me where these things are in nature. Could you? Could you do that?
One of my subscribers made this, another New Zealander.
Wow.
That's how it works. See that? That's the Milky Way. That yellow strip is the Milky Way. It lines up with the north and the southern hemisphere at a certain time of the year.
But we can't see it in the southern hemisphere. Jesus fucking Christ. Then we got this. This is perspective, I guess. Which can't explain why things go disappear bottom up. Okay. No explanation. No description has been added to this video.
This diagram, let me just run through it in 5 minutes, the important points, and please tell me if you think everybody can get it, yeah? So this is, if you like, a mixture of tangible geometry, because I'm showing 3 lampposts, let's say, or 4 lampposts, going on a line, right? They're all the same height, and I'm looking at a cross-sectional view of it, and I would see them all the same height. If I step back far enough away, I know these lampposts are all the same height. That's exactly what I would see, right?
No, you wouldn't see them at the same height. They would drop in height as they moved away from you. As your diagram explains. See, the angles are different, dude. The angles are different.
The tangible, these objects. And I've put now our circle of measure in here, so our arc, so that we can see what actually happens. Now, as the top of the lamppost, or I move to the second lamppost, then the position of that second lamppost is going to fall down on the
Yes, this is Kev from Shiva's panel. Yes.
arc from N to O. So it's going to drop in its visible position And when I say visible position, I do mean that. I don't mean its tangible position. Its tangible position isn't moving. It's fucking nailed into the ground, right? It's not going anywhere. Its visible position is dropping in my field of view the further away the top of that lamppost goes, so that I go from N to O.
And that would be a tangible position as well, because you can measure to that position. That makes it tangible.
From O to P and from P to Q. And basically, if I continued, then that's going to drop all the way down to this blue line, i.e. my horizon.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. It would never drop down to the line. It never would. It may get within a degree, but then it would never go any further. And depending on the distance you are, yeah, if this is the sun or Polaris on a flat Earth, you should be able to see it easily from the edge of the flat Earth. You have to be like 240,000 miles away or 350,000 miles or some shit away for the sun to get to 1 degree above the horizon. And then it's an asymptotic angle. It doesn't change, no matter how far away it goes.
Horizon, yeah.
See, all he did is just draw a bunch of lines and then fucking make some arcs and then misrepresent it.
And the ground is going to do the same thing. The bottom of the lamppost is going to start rising to the horizon. The ground rises to the horizon and the sky falls, right? We're all agreed on that. And the very fact that I am now closer to the bottom of the lamppost than I am to the top of the lamppost, if I was exactly in the middle here, if I was at 3 units in the middle between 0 and 6, then both of these things would converge at the same time. And the thing would shrink and smaller with the same at the top and the same at the bottom. It would shrink and get there.
Right. The whole thing at once, not half of it.
But that only happens if I am in the middle, equidistant between the top and the bottom. If I am not equidistant from the top and the bottom, then other phenomena occur, which is what I've tried to describe in that document. It's not the same. This simplistic way of looking at perspective, that things get smaller in the distance, and it does so proportionally.
Yes, it always does so proportionally. Doesn't matter what angle you are to the ground. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're up at the top or down here at the bottom. On a flat Earth, it will always disappear proportionally. The whole thing. Never half.
Above and below is only true if you're equidistant from the top and the bottom.
And they're all nodding along. Look at them nodding along.
It's actually mentioned
like fucking little puppets.
by Rowbottom in his original book.
It is, yeah. He explains it as well with straight lines. He doesn't use the arc, which, I think...
No, he doesn't use the arc, but he explains that if they're equidistant, they'll disappear at the same time. They'll converge at the eye line at the same time.
So if I'm just looking at this red line, if I imagine I could see a red line, a roof, and I have a floor, then the roof and the floor are going to converge to my eye line, or to my horizon, if you like, if we want to call it that too.
You ever see that happen? You ever seen that happen in a house or in a long hallway? No, you haven't. You've never seen that. Ever. The ceiling and floor have never come together and converged at your eye line. Ever.
Which is why,
as a matter of fact, I'll bet you fucking money that's never happened.
boats disappear bottom up because they convert if the sails and everything are higher above your eye line than the hull is, then that bottom section is going to disappear, reach the eye line before the sails.
Yeah, well, actually, it won't reach the eye line. They're going to both reach the eye line at the same time. But what will happen is you will reach the limits of vision, and you will reach the limits of angular diffraction.
No, dude, you don't reach the no. You don't reach the limits of human vision. How come you can see further than the horizon? Why can you see stars that are further than the horizon is? Why? If the horizon is your limit of vision. And no, you haven't reached the limit of diffraction, because the boats that are going over the horizon, you can still read the lettering on them. So no, they haven't reached the limits of diffraction. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
At the bottom, quicker.
Yeah. Well, no, they still converge at different times too, don't they?
No.
That's what you were just saying.
Yeah, but
No.
exactly where they
No, they don't. They converge at the same fucking time, dipshit. Jesus Christ, man.
they converge at infinity, right? Mathematically spoken, they both converge at infinity. But
No, they won't. They would never converge at infinity. It would be an asymptotic relationship or an asymptotic angle.
the one at the bottom will reach the limits of vision and the limits of angular diffraction quicker.
I gotcha.
No, the whole object reaches the limits of diffraction at the same time, not the top or bottom. They don't know shit about anything, and they're trying to teach other people. Just fucking sad, man.
I think it's an important distinction to me, because I don't believe in infinity anyway. I'd rather see indefinite. So you have a finite length and you have an indefinite length. I hate that word infinity, because it's just a mathematical trickery.
Is that sort of why you can't draw this diagram to its full extent?
Yes.
Because that convergence points is just too far in the distance, too far to the right.
Yep. Yeah, you would have to be so far away to take it all in one view that you wouldn't be able to distinguish it anymore.
Yeah.
If you like. So again, we reach our limits. But just to go through the argumentation, so when you look at the horizontal spacing between two things, then if I go from H to A, then the horizontal spacing is moving from U to T. And when I go from here, from A to C, it's going from T to S. And when I go from C to F, it's then going from S to R. Those are the 4 points that I have there.
Yeah.
And this angle here between...
You know what your field of vision is? Like from here to here? That's your field of view. Doesn't matter what these angles are doing. Your field of view, you still see all this shit in the bottom. Right?
S and R. If you can imagine that this angle here, the difference between these 2 points is going to be, when I go further away, so small as to be insensible. And that's when the limits of vision are reached. And when that happens, and it's...
No, that's not that's not where the limits of vision are reached. Not at all. He didn't know. He just doesn't fucking know.
probably due to the fact that we only have a certain amount of rods and cones on the back of our retina.
That has absolutely fucking nothing to do with it at all.
That we can make that differentiation, but basically that angle is so small that we cannot longer differentiate between these 2 points, you know, from our eye limitation. And that's when this whole horizontal space disappears from view. And
But we aren't worried about the water. We're worried about what's above the water. See, the water isn't in front of this, as evident by, see the cone? Or see this angle of measurement, this angle of view? The water is nowhere near it. The water isn't up here, so it can't block anything down here.
anything sitting in that horizontal space also disappears from view because you can't tell one point from another.
No, well, then the stuff in the water, well, how would it disappear? You just wouldn't be able to resolve it. You wouldn't be able to tell what it is. You can still see it there, but again, this point and this point are the same distance, dude. They're the same distance. Why would this disappear first when this is nowhere near it? You don't make any sense, man.
And if you go even further to the right, then the same principle
This is this dumb shit that is on with fucking Dell, isn't it? Isn't this Dell's buddy?
kicks in with angular diffraction, the Rayleigh criteria, which basically says that two light points can't be distinguished from each other. So you have the vision.
Right, if they're close enough together based on the pupil diameter and the wavelength of light. Yeah. So what does that have to do with this?
Limits of the eye, and at some point you have the visual limits of nature.
See, with this boat, you can read the lettering perfectly clear up until where the Earth blocks it right here. Right? The Earth curve blocks it right here. See, but you can read it perfectly from here up. Right? But you're saying that the Earth is flat, so the Earth is down here, so it wouldn't block it.
And when that happens, those points are no longer distinguishable. Anything in this interval is then lost to sight because it's no longer distinguishable. You cannot see it anymore. And you can see from the top half that the angle's still a lot bigger, right? So this angle has not reached that limit the same way the bottom part has reached the limit. The bottom is always going to reach that limit sooner because you're closer to the ground, or closer to the bottom of the object in this case.
Fucking wrong. Absolutely fucking wrong. Hey, U.S. Editor. Here's physics PhD open for plain Earth.
I didn't know any better. I came out of school believing what I had been taught and doing my own research, which is what you apparently have done. I came to different conclusions.
I think it introduces a theory of everything. I think when you have a stationary Earth in a central position, and then you have an ether, and you have a plane, now you have a torus field geometry from the small to the big. It's the theory of
No, this is how shit works, man.
everything. All things fall within that geometry, right? And yeah, I think that would just progress. That would progress physics so much. If we can move towards understanding everything's a modality of ether, everything is intrinsically electromagnetic. I mean, it would change the world. It would change the world, in my opinion. We should have way better technology and free energy and stuff like that. So
free energy.
There is my response to this. Yes, I'll let you out.
Okay, let me just say that I've been wrong before. I was an evolutionist because that's what I was taught in school. I was a heliocentrist, Copernican, because that's what I was taught in school. I did believe that there was no ether because that's what I was taught. So I believed in things, Austin, because I didn't know any better. I came out of school believing what I had been taught and doing my own research, which is what you apparently have done. I came to different conclusions than mainstream.
Jesus Christ. So this guy's a fucking idiot who didn't go to school. I would bet on it, because if he actually went to school, he'd realize that you do your research in school as well, dumb fuck. Who the fuck is this fucking asshole? This is from What's It Gets It. Robert Bennett? Who the fuck is Robert Bennett? Anybody know who Robert Bennett is?
Literally how it works in reality. So here's this little personal grid, sent it over to the observer.
Robert Bennett.
Here's what it looks like in Stellarium, overlaid it. I've done.
No, dipshit. Stellarium uses the heliocentric model, dumb fuck. This isn't a representation of reality.
In every position I could think of, from the middle of the North Pole to 45 degrees.
So how are these stars going to circle around a point out here on the rim? How's that going to happen, man?
Which means halfway between the North Pole and the equator.
So he thinks there's this personal fucking observational dome that everything is projected onto, and that's how we see everything curved and moving in different directions. That's why. That's what this fucking piece of shit thinks.
I've modeled it there. I've modeled it Here's the actual view in Stellarium to show you how the actual stars look when you look at the night sky. And then here's how it's mirrored. And
so he's using a heliocentric model to validate his fucking horse shit. Hey, Tinker Phil, what's up, man?
And kind of bringing this whole thing together, this whole take back the sky for those with the eyes to see movement. We need to,
for those with eyes to see. Shut the fuck up, fat ass. No, this is light circling over edge of vision using a solid glass paperweight. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Focal point of edge of vision model 2. Why is it illuminating everything, though? Why is everything being illuminated and no distinctive line? Why is that? So that was 7 seconds. Here, this one's 5 seconds. This is Earth tilt and time zones don't work. Okay. Yeah. Why don't they work? Why don't time zones work? Can you explain that? Time zones work perfect. What are you fucking talking about, dipshit?
CIA document released in 2000, right? Generalized curves with a Fresnel reflection coefficients for horizontal and vertical polarizations, right?
Okay.
All right, you're gonna come down here, and I ran it through the converter so I could pick up the text, right?
Okay.
Here's what it says right here. The above solution was obtained for the plane problem. So they're talking about specifically even radio waves.
Okay.
Shot over the Earth and used in engineering calculations. And the plane problem is referring to how it only works on a plane and it operates as if it's going over a plane.
Right.
And so, as in they were able to solve for the calculations on the plane.
Right.
But
it is clear from equation 16 that under the above assumptions, the amplitude and phase fluctuations in the resultant signal are equal to the distance zone. However, the dependence on the intensity fluctuations, yeah, it's just Austin not understanding shit. Cherry picking citations again. So this is Norway lens flare comparison. I have no idea what this is supposed to prove. Tell he's shooting with a P1000. You can see that distinct heptagonal or septagonal 7-sided. So I have no idea what this is. Anyway, that's all we've got from him. See if anything else has come up. They're just not smart people. They're just not smart at all. I mean, they choose to believe a book over science. I mean, that's just, hey, curious UK debunks. You got excellent timing. Sorry, I've been on for an hour, and yeah. I mean, what kind of hubris does it take to believe that a fucking 2,000-year-old book is more accurate than modern science? I mean, seriously. It's fucking hysterical. It's comical. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.